comme les Pays-Bas, où il y a l'idée de la démocratie, l'idée à laquelle nous sommes au fond quand même imprégnés parce que nous vivons dans un pays démocratique, nous pouvons essayer de transposer cette idée-là dans nos pays, essayer au fond d'aider nos populations à...
And our Sudan Liberation Movement, I'm one of figures representing this movement, Sudan Liberation Movement. I'm the Secretary of Communication at International Corporation here in the Netherlands. And the situation in Darfur changed dramatically because the international community intervened or interfered. The government of Sudan, instead of facing the rebels with the national army, started using the Arabs, some Arabic tribes, because you have already heard about the Janjaweeds. And nobody knows what's the Janjaweed, because everybody thinks that every Sudanese is a Janjaweed. But the Janjaweed means the brutal in our local language, les brutales, ceux qui tuent sans distinction. Those people who kill without any indiscriminately. So those are the Janjaweeds. And you hear on the news the Janjaweed are malicious because most of the Janjaweeds are formed from Arabic tribe. And when the government of Sudan or the military failed to face the rebels with military means, because most of the soldiers in the army were from Darfur, and you cannot send the people to kill their own people. And then the government had no choice but to recruit some tribes in Darfur in the name of Arabism, and they indoctrinated those people. They told them, oh, the African tribes who are living here, they revolted against the existence of Arabic ethnic in Sudan because we are a minority and we are dominating the power since the independence, and those people are majority. And they don't want us because we are settlers or we are former immigrants. And as you know, Sudan has especially situations not like the other African countries, because Sudan is a multi-ethnic and religious country. There are people from ethnic Arabic who crossed the Red Sea 100 years ago because there was no petrol and no richness at that time in those places, and they were looking for pasture and water. Pasture for their animals and water. And when they crossed the Red Sea, they found that Sudan has fertile agricultural land, and they remain on the banks of the Nile. And they began to move toward the south, little by little. And you know, Africans are welcoming people, because those people were poor and they came with their animals looking for pasture and those things. They allowed them to stay. And the nature of the African man is not a very aggressive one, because we are welcoming. And if you go back to the history, you see that most of the prophets were sent to the most aggressive people in the world, and there was not any prophet sent to Africa, because the people of Africa were not evil, simply because they were not evil. Yeah, and those people, they came with everything. They brought everything from there. Their evilness, they brought everything from there. We gave them the land, we welcomed them to stay. After the departure of the colony, because the Arabs were a bit, I think, progressed in education because of Islam and this. When they came with a culture. They know, some of them, they know how to write even. But when they came to Africa, they came before the European colonizer. And when the European came, he used the Arabs in Sudan as help the colonizer rule Sudan, and they trained them. Because most of the Africans were there in the bush, and they don't like those new modern things, as you know now. In my village, I have my people too. When you bring them television or radio, they don't like it. They just like to remain in the bush there, because we are really ecologists. And I myself, I feel like sitting in a closed place here in Netherlands. Sometimes I feel like going to the bush, but there's no bush here to go to. That's the problem. Yeah, because I was born and brought up in such places. I'm a part of the nature. I feel that the animals my friends, the trees are my friends, the sun and the rivers, all those things. Doesn't answer even 30% of the demand of Darfur people. And one of the demands of Darfur people, disarming the Janjaweeds under international supervision, and the compensation to those people, bringing the perpetrators of Darfur genocide to justice. The Sudanese government has refused to hand over Minister Ali Haroun and the Janjaweed leader Ali Kosheb to the ICC here because they know that when they come, they will tell the truth. And then I think other people will come. And when we say other people, the minister got here, then the president will come here. And you saw what's happened to Milicevic. So either to bring justice to those people or bring justice to them, justice must be done. And that's what people want. And only justice can bring back the smile to the orphans, to the widows, and those to the raped women. 40,000 women were raped. Okay. And the war is not over yet. That's why we are one of the non-signatory parties. We refuse Aboya. We rejected Aboya. We don't want Aboya because it doesn't answer the demands of our people. And we continue to struggle. And if you heard last week, the African Union mission was attacked. The government of Sudan refusing the deployment of international peacekeepers. That means the Europeans, the Americans should send them troops there. They say, no, we want just African troops. And the African troops are correct. We are Africans. If I am a general in the army, I get less than 300 euros a month, and the Sudanese government give me about 1,000 and tell me, hey, just tell us the positions of the rebels. I will do. And that is why we as Africans, we refuse the African Union's mission. It's failed because they are corrupt. They are not fair. We want a multinational forces to be deployed. And even the African mission is not deployed there to defend or protect the civilians of Darfur, only to record the ceasefire violations. That means if the Sudanese army violated the ceasefire, they have to record it. And if the rebels violated the ceasefire, they have to record it. Oh, those people, they attack a village, they kill this and that, and they did this and that. But they are not there to prevent the people of Darfur. That is why we say the African mission is failed, and we want international forces to be deployed because, according to the UN, they should be deployed at the 7th charter of the région de Darfur. C'est pour cela c'était un peu impossible d'envoyer les fils de Darfur ou bien les Darfuriens pour combattre leur peuple. À cause de ça, on a formé les Arabes ethniques qui sont au Darfour. On les a dit que, voilà, les Noirs là, ils se sont révoltés contre nous parce qu'ils ne veulent pas les Arabes au Soudan. Ils veulent chasser les Arabes hors du pays. C'est pour ça on va vous donner des armes pour faire ce que vous pouvez faire, pour les chasser aussi. Donc, et quand vous chassez, les gens là, ils vont fuir au Tchad, aux Républiques centrafricaines, et comme ça, vous allez prendre tout. Ouais. Et avec l'appui de l'armée, avec l'appui de l'armée soudanaise, ouais, les avions de chasse viennent pour bombarder des villages, et après, les Janjaouites viennent pour compléter leur mission. Voler les femmes, voler tout ce qu'ils trouvent et tuent les enfants, les femmes, n'importe quoi. Et comme je vous ai expliqué, les Janjaouites sont les brutales. Ça c'est un mot qu'on utilise à Darfur là-bas, où ils sont des Arabes. Mais ce n'est pas tous les ethnies arabes sont Janjaouites. Ceux qui sont formés pour chasser les Africains du Darfour, parce qu'il y a les Arabes qui habitent à l'est du Soudan ou bien au centre. Ils ne sont pas parmi les Janjaouites. Mais l'idée, c'est bien du gouvernement arabe qui est à Khartoum. Ouais. Et nous sommes majoritaires au Soudan. S'il y a des élections et démocratie, on peut prendre le pouvoir.
Ces groupes de population, on les appellera noirs et l'autre groupe, on les appellera arabes. Puisque quand je vois les images à la télé, on parle des noirs et des arabes, je vois aussi parmi les arabes des noirs. Il y a des noirs. Et je ne sais pas pourquoi l'autre partie de la population les appelle des noirs et l'autre partie on les appelle des arabes, puisqu'il n'y a pas une race arabe. Il existe des pays arabes, mais il n'y a pas une race appelée arabe.
Moi je suis soudanais et je connais la situation dans mon pays. Il y a des ethnies arabes, il y a des pays arabes. Et au Soudan, nous avons des ethnies arabes. Parce que moi, je viens de l'ethnie Zakawa. Et il y a Four. Four, c'est l'ethnie de Darfur. Four. Bon, les Arabes de Darfur ne sont pas très blancs comme les Marocains, mais ils sont bruns, comme celui qui est ici là. Il y a des Soudanais qui sont comme ça. Celui-là, ok.